story on Eyewitness News tonight. They were supposed to jump for joy, but then something went horribly wrong.
Still hasn't hit me yet. I mean,
tonight, looking for answers in a skydiving tragedy. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Boudreaux.
And I'm Minerva Perez. The crash of the 1958 Cessna killed all 5 people on board. It was supposed to be a routine trip for the skydiving club called Aggies Over Texas. They're based at Coulter Field, just outside Bryan.
Eyewitness News reporter Patrick Nolan joining us live from the scene where the wreckage remains tonight. Patrick?
And there's still no word on a cause. Investigators will be back out here tomorrow morning. Also tomorrow morning, A&M students will go back to class with the painful knowledge that 5 of their fellow Aggies are gone forever. The staff of the student newspaper worked well into the night to publish the saddest story of their young careers. A front-page tragedy they will never forget, no matter how hard they try.
Anytime that any of the students at A&M are killed, it's an enormous deal to the student body, but especially in this way that it's just, it was just a fun outing that no one expected anything to happen, and it just ends in such a terrible way.
The story began high above the ground Saturday when this Cessna crashed just after takeoff. In the cockpit was business major Rob Perrier, who had flown the plane on countless other jumps.
he'd been doing this every weekend for about, I guess, over a year now, and he just spotless record, just a good pilot.
A&M grad Leela Futch was to jump as part of her birthday celebration, and she was to do it under the supervision of fellow alumni and Woodlands resident Mark Woodings, who for years had coordinated jumps for the skydiving club. Also on board was another former student, Jonathan Warden. The 5th passenger was perhaps the least known name here at the school because she just started. Freshman Sarah Miller was just 18 years old.
It's heartbreaking. It really is. We'll all miss him very much. I wanted to say.
Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board have spent a lot of time looking for signs of a cause, but many potential clues literally melted away in the fire that consumed the plane after it went down. Those final moments are images the victims' friends are trying to forget. Instead, they choose to remember them for their adventurous spirit, which drew them toward the heavens to begin with.
Everything that he ever did, he always did 100%. We'll be all right. He's in a better place now, so.
Rob often told his friends if he could, he would fly forever, and one of those friends told me she would like to think that tonight he and the 4 others, in her words, are flying with the angels. Reporting live from Bryan, Patrick Nolan, 13 Eyewitness News.
2 of the victims, Sarah Miller and Rob Perrier, were current students at A&M, and the other 3, Jonathan Warden, Mark Woodings, and Leela Futch, were former students. Dr. Malin Sutherland, who is school's vice president of student affairs, has released a statement today, and he is saying, quote, "This is a tragic loss of young lives, and all of us at the university are grieved for the parents, families, and friends, and the student acquaintances of these young people."
The Aggies Over Texas is the group former President George Bush jumped with back in June. He jumped out of a plane at 13,000 feet to mark his 75th birthday. He did it over the Bush Presidential Library in College Station. He had several supporters on hand for that jump, including former First Lady Barbara Bush.
Here's what's next in the skydiving tragedy. Federal investigators will be back at the scene of the crash tomorrow, searching for clues to try to figure out what happened. One area they'll be focusing upon is the plane's engine. And the owner of the aircraft is trying to make arrangements to remove, that is, the wreckage from the field. Do stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage and the latest on the skydiving tragedy in Bryan.
And the on-site investigation of the Fort Worth church shooting is over, and the interior of the church, where 7 people were shot to death, has been physically sanitized to remove the most gruesome reminders of that senseless carnage.
The church where evil preyed upon its innocents returned to prayer this morning. The Wedgwood Baptist Church returned to its rightful owners today. The congregation that had been pushed aside by the evil acts of a deranged man came back to its spiritual home. A few paused to reflect on the floral shrine that was the outpouring of a sympathetic community. The church website has recorded over 30,000 hits offering condolences. There was a visible police presence outside. A few of the congregants did stop to pray with one of the police officers. Inside, there were still bullet holes in the wall, but where there had been deadly gunshots ringing earlier in the week, the walls now echoed with the joyful sounds of worship. The choir sang and the preacher preached. first to the younger members with a reference to a nursery rhyme.
We've had a big fall this week. People came into our church and started shooting people. Was it hard for you to come into church today? It was.
And what was harder still, but what Reverend Meredith said must be done, was to offer forgiveness to the man who unleashed the unholiest of acts in the holiest of places.
The poor man was deranged. His mind had been twisted by heaven knows what. He was in the power of the Prince of Darkness.
In the brilliant light of a sunlit field, the Fort Worth community came together, some 10,000 strong at Texas Christian, for a citywide memorial for the 7 victims. Governor and Mrs. Bush attended, but did not speak. To offer solace, students from Columbine High School came to extend a hand of compassion from those who knew firsthand the emotional ravages created by murderous sociopaths with hatred in their hearts and guns in their hands. If these are the times that try men's souls, Fort Worth today displayed it had the capacity to gather strength from disaster.
Time for healing, time for great faith and personal introspection. As I discovered in talking to some of those who were leaving the service this morning, for example, there was this 18-year-old who had lost a friend to the gunman.
One of my sister's roommates was killed, and
When he talked about forgiving Larry Ashbrook, could you do that in your heart?
yes, I can. I've thought God in my heart, and He's telling me to give it, to give.
I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
To forgive him. And I can do that.
No doubt he will, although undoubtedly it's going to take time. All of the funerals have not yet been completed. The final 3 victims, all of them 14 years old, Cassandra Griffin, Joseph Ennis, and Christy Beckel, will be laid to rest on Monday.
And 2 of the victims from Wednesday's shooting remain in Fort Worth's John Peter Smith Hospital. 16-year-old Justin Laird and 36-year-old Jeff Laster are both listed in fair condition this weekend. Laird was shot in the back. Laster was wounded in the abdomen.
A suspect from a drug arrest, that is hospitalized tonight after having been shot by an officer early this evening. Undercover DPS Lieutenant Philip Goodwin says he shot one of the 2 suspects in the stomach. Investigators say the 2 men were attempting to buy 15 pounds of marijuana off Kirby near the Southwest Freeway. Officers say when they tried to arrest the men, one appeared to be reaching for a weapon, so the officer fired. The suspect, it turns out, did not have a gun. The wounded man is in stable condition tonight at Bentop Hospital. The second suspect was arrested without further incident at the scene.
And the jury in the second trial surrounding the dragging death of an African-American man is expected to start hearing closing arguments by tomorrow. Lawrence Russell Brewer said under oath on Friday that it was his co-defendant, Sean Berry, who slashed the throat of James Byrd Jr. last summer in Jasper. Brewer also told the Brazos County jury that he was trying to break up a fight in 1998 between Byrd and John William King, who has been sentenced to death for that crime. Eyewitness News will have the verdict for you as soon as one is returned.
Branch Davidians once again have a presence at the Mount Carmel complex near Waco. About 60 volunteers turned out today to build a new chapel for the Branch Davidians. Some were followers of that religious group, but most were non-believers who blame the federal government for the '93 fire that killed David Koresh and 80 Branch Davidians. The project was organized by an Austin area radio talk show host.
People arriving at a Heights area Catholic church today found an empty space where they were used to seeing their beloved Virgin Mary. A statue of the Virgin was stolen Thursday night from its grotto-like shrine outside All Saints Church. Leaders of the church are hoping someone can help them return the statue to its rightful place.
44 years or so, and it's been a life source of a lot of people. People are here all day long. Every day there's always someone sitting here praying before Mary, and we just miss her.
If you know anything about the case, the church asks that you call them at 713-864-2653.
And this note from the religious community, the Jewish community, as Jews around the world are marking the holiest of their holy days. Yom Kippur began at sundown tonight, lasting until sundown tomorrow. The Day of Atonement, including fasting, repenting, and praying. The nation of Israel virtually shuts down each year for Yom Kippur. Shops close, international flights are all canceled, and Israeli television stations go off the air.
And it's been a busy season for tropical weather, and we're not through yet.
Definitely not. Tonight, the eye on the Gulf. Gene Norman taking a look at it as we have a full-blown storm brewing out there. Gene?
All right, you are, Bob. And we came to you earlier this evening. We had a tropical depression on our hands, but now it's been upgraded to Tropical Storm Harvey. The 10 o'clock coordinates place it some 335 miles to the west-southwest of St. Petersburg. As you can see from this enhanced satellite picture, there's really been an explosion of the thunderstorms right around the center. Winds 45 miles an hour. The storm right now is stationary, but it is expected to move closer to Florida, and a tropical storm watch is in effect from Bonita Beach to Suwannee River. Perhaps this storm will get pushed out to the Atlantic by the same cold front that may change our weather. We'll talk some more about all of these factors coming into the forecast a little bit later in the newscast.
Thank you, Gene. Well, a Texan crashes his vintage plane during an air race.
We've got details still ahead here on Eyewitness News tonight.
Also, the TAAS test has come under fire before, but now it's going on trial. Plus, the presidential candidate admits using drugs while he attacks Governor Bush. And running out of food and water thanks to Hurricane Floyd. That's next on Eyewitness News tonight.
You're watching ABC 13. Houston's news leader, live with Bob Boudreaux, Minerva Perez, Gene Norman, and Tim Melton. This is 13 Eyewitness News, Houston's news leader.
Texas, it's back. Save now during Toyota's Race to the Savings. The 2000 models are arriving and the 99s are moving out fast. Hurry in to your Toyota Power Team dealers and get $750 cash back on Toyota Camry. Or get 3.9 financing on the #1 selling car in America. Get $750 cash back on Camry right now at your Toyota Power Team dealers. Register now to win a 2000 Toyota Tundra during the 99 Texaco Haviland Grand Prix.
Take me out to the super sale at Mervyn's, California, and buy me a swimsuit or fine jewelry. You'll save on
Mervyn's California Super Sale, now through Saturday.
Coming up Monday on 13 Eyewitness News Live at 5, are you putting your child's eyesight at risk? Find out what the experts say you should be doing differently. Then at 6, a series of motivational books is sweeping the nation. See what's driving everyone to pick one up and what they could do for you. Plus, kids and biting. Is it just a normal phase or something more serious? Learn how you can put a stop to it. That's Monday on 13 Eyewitness News at 6.
My pants used to get baked on mess, but now they sparkle. What's my secret? Boston Market.
At Boston Market, you don't have to worry about dinner. It's done. Because for a limited time, you can get a quarter dark rotisserie chicken, 2 mouth-watering sides, cornbread, and a Coke for just $4.99. An entire meal for less than $5.
And I don't have to use a single pan, except this one. Dinner!
Boston Market. Dinner, it's done.
The aftermath of Hurricane Floyd continues to rain misery along the East Coast.
The death toll is now at 49, 23 of the victims from North Carolina. And more rain is expected in Greensville, where the Tar River should crest tomorrow. It's already 9 feet higher than it has ever been recorded before. National Guard helicopters still searching for the stranded people, and the president says he plans to visit the ravaged state tomorrow.
And thousands of Floyd's victims are without food, water, and electricity. The flooding damaged several water plants, contaminating the drinkable supply. Grocery store shelves are bare and quickly running out of food since delivery trucks can't make it through the floodwaters. Hundreds of roads are closed and an estimated 6,400 evacuees remain in shelters tonight.
Texas man is dead after an accident in an airplane race in Nevada. Grand Prairie native Gary Levitz was racing his P-51 Mustang in the race yesterday near Reno. Investigators say the vintage single-engine fighter suffered damage to the tail section and then broke apart in midair. Debris from the plane pelted a residential neighborhood, slightly injuring a girl on the ground and then starting a brush fire.
Texas Governor George W. Bush is taking new hits for refusing to answer the big question, did he ever use cocaine? Democratic presidential candidate Bill Bradley appeared on today's ABC's This Week, and he thinks voters have the right to know whether presidential candidates ever used drugs or committed felonies of any kind.
I've always believed that people have a right to know if you're a crook, but not if you're a sinner, since we all are. And therefore, in answer to that question specifically, yes.
Bradley says he has used marijuana several times, but never cocaine.
Well, the fairness of the TAAS test is going on trial in Texas tomorrow. All Texas children are required to pass that test in order to obtain a high school diploma. The Mexican-American Legal Defense and Educational Fund is suing on behalf of several minority students who failed the test, and they were barred from graduating high school. They want to force the state to get rid of the graduation requirement, saying it discriminates against blacks and Hispanics. The Texas Education Agency says the test is valid and it is unbiased.
Well, sunny skies, mild temperatures.
Oh, maybe the best time of year to be in our city. Gene Norman is up next to validate that as we take a look at the work week forecast.
And it could be worse. Remember Gilbert? A look back at the hurricane that filled the entire Gulf. Ahead on Eyewitness News tonight.
The best-selling compact sport utility in Texas. The best-selling full-size sport utility in Texas. The best deals on both. Now, during your Ford dealer's factory authorized clearance. Get incredibly low 0.9% financing on Ford Explorer and Ford Expedition. That's right, for the first time ever, get 0.9 financing plus 500 cash back on Explorer. Or 0.9 financing on Expedition. 0.9 financing on both. Now, during clearance, see your Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
Monday morning at 5:30 on 13.
Well, you've heard of banking from your computer. Soon you'll be able to balance your checkbook on your television. It's Lazy Boy Banking, coming soon to a TV near you.
Get a head start on your day on Eyewitness News at 5:30 a.m. Then stay tuned for Good Morning America.
Come on over, come on.
Wake up at the crossroads of America.
Come on over to Good Morning America at Times Square.
Hey, pal, when did you see the light?
I was working away from home. On my own dime, it's crazy to stay anywhere but Motel 6. I could take the extra money and invest it in something.
Yeah, like pizza.
Well, call us and see the light for yourself.
On a trip to my sister's, I said, why waste money when we can stay at Motel 6, didn't I, hon? Now see what happens when you listen. It's like that fear he had of cauliflower.
And for reliable calling on the road, count on 1-800-CALL-ATT.
Jaguar spent over $5 billion to make the XK8 one of the most reliable luxury cars in the world. Even so, we can make it much more affordable. Hurry in for the thick of the litter. Where? Here, kitty kitty. Oh, did I mention they're not declawed? Momentum Jaguar. Southwest Freeway exit Bissonnette.
As we told you earlier, there is trouble in the Gulf.
And there was trouble, what, about 12 years ago?
Certainly right.
Big storm.
Very big storm. Now, last week we were talking about Floyd, powerful storm in the East Coast, but in tonight's Millennium Moment, as Bob said, we look back at one of the largest storms ever in the Gulf of Mexico. "11 years ago, the eyes of Texas were on Hurricane Gilbert. Hard to miss because it nearly filled the entire Gulf. Winds clocked at 184 miles an hour, and it had one of the lowest pressures of any storm ever seen in the Gulf. Now, it missed Texas, landed in Mexico with flooding rains and powerful winds after raking Jamaica and the Yucatan Peninsula. Now, hurricane season is winding down at the end of November. Fall officially starts this coming Thursday, but we are not seeing an end to hurricane season. We told you at the top of the newscast we have Tropical Storm Harvey now out there in the Gulf. It's in the eastern Gulf. You can see very well-defined intensification of thunderstorms in the color-enhanced satellite picture. Winds 45 miles an hour. Right now, it's nearly stationary, some 335 miles to the west-southwest of St. Petersburg, Florida. But tropical storm watches are in effect for portions of the western coast of Florida here. And this storm is more or less going to move in that direction. One of the reasons why we have a cold front coming out of Texas. That's going to help steer this storm. That's going to help dictate where it's going to eventually end up. By Monday, just south of Apalachicola. But then watch the cold front come, help push it into Florida and possibly out into the Atlantic, away from the southeast, who, of course, still trying to recover from the flooding rains of Floyd. They don't need another storm to aggravate the problems. No aggravation in our weather. Absolutely delightful. Take a live look outside. We have clear skies out over Galveston Island. It's been a delightful day here in Houston. The low temperature, 58 degrees, high up to 95, so a bit warmer today. It's going to be, again, warm tomorrow before the front comes on through. No rainfall, and right now, a pretty mild evening outside. 71 degrees at Bush, 78 here, 77 at Hobby. Dew point nice and comfortable at 56, humidity 59%. Winds are calm, the barometric pressure 29.87 and rising. The front, though, is bringing some strong thunderstorms, or the potential for strong thunderstorms, into the northern sections of the state tonight. Severe thunderstorm watch in this yellow box until 1 a.m., and you see some storms erupting there now. The front is going to make it through here probably late in the day tomorrow. Pretty nice behind that front, 78 degrees up in Wichita, 47 in Denver. Ahead of the front, though, temperatures about 5 degrees warmer than they were yesterday. 95 College Station, 94 San Antonio, 90 degrees on the island. but we think the front is going to slide on through during the afternoon on Monday and on into Tuesday. That's the good news. We'll see sunshine, maybe a few clouds tomorrow, but once the front comes on through, a cool reinforcement of our weather pattern just in time for the start of fall on Thursday. As far as Gert is concerned, well, this is still a powerful hurricane out in the Atlantic. Hurricane watches are in effect now for the island of Bermuda. Winds of 130 miles an hour moving to the northwest at 12, some 460 miles to the southeast of Bermuda. This storm continues to curve away from the United States. That's the good news. Our forecast has lots of good news. If you like the kind of weather we've been seeing all weekend long, low tomorrow, 61, high tomorrow, 95, good deal of sunshine. Tuesday, as we said, a few clouds as the front struggles through, but look at that. Wednesday, 84 degrees for a high, and about that crisp and cool for the start of fall on Thursday. Good news for us, bad news for Florida. We could use some rain. We haven't seen any rain since September 1st.
Yeah.
Misprint there, 84?
That's exactly right.
53?
A guarantee.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, whatever you thought the NFL should look like right now, the picture's already changed after week number 2.
And the Stros picture is a little brighter tonight, thanks to the team's leaders. Stay with us. Tim Melton will tell you all about it next in sports.
Do you know how many people have access to personal information about you, like your home address and social security number? The answer will shock you. Monday on Debra Duncan, learn how to protect your identity. That's Monday at 9 right here on ABC 13.
Select road. Validating tires.
With BF Goodrich tires, it's any road you choose. BF Goodrich tires. Take control. And now when you take control with a set of 4 BF Goodrich tires, get up to $125 cash or gifts plus the chance to win a 1999 Ford Mustang Cobra. It's all happening during the BF Goodrich Tires Winter Circle Sweepstakes. See your participating BF Goodrich tire dealer.
On an all-new Sally, teens confront their moms with their deep, dark secrets.
What? Oh, my God.
Unsuspecting mothers, frightened teens. My teen has a shocking secret. Next Sally.
Monday at 4 on ABC 13.
Right now, see more trucks than an all-night diner. During the GMC Summer Convoy, pickups, SUVs, and family vans. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks, designed better than they need to be. Like the GMC Jimmy, an SUV built with a backbone, a full-length steel frame, and a smooth, comfortable ride. Get $2,500 cash back or 0% APR on select 99 Jimmys. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by.
Time for sports.
These two guys are so good, you expect them to come through 100% of the time, and they don't, so you tend to get down on them a little bit, but...
Boy, when they come through, we
Boy,
feel good about them, don't
they?
we? Yeah, this is why they're paid the big bucks, and this is when the team leaders need to step forward and take charge. Today, the Astros riding a 3-game losing streak, their lead down to 2.5 games. Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell led by example again, and as a result, all of a sudden, we're feeling a little bit better about things, are we not? Final game in St. Louis today. Biggio made it 1-0 in the third on a home run that ended up in Mac land, where McGuire hits him. Yeah, way up here in the red. Now the camera got there. Unfortunately, Mac himself, Mark McGuire, hit numbers 57 and 58. The second one here, making it 3-2 St. Louis after 6 innings. So in the 7th, here comes Biggio again at 55th double, and then Bagwell, his 42nd home run of the season. That was clutch. That was huge. 4-3 Astros lead. Billy Wagner fan 4 of the last 5 he faced. Club record 37 save. 4-3 good guys, and it's even gooder when you take a look at the scoreboard. Pittsburgh knocked off Cincinnati 8-5. The lead is now 3.5. New York defeated Philadelphia 8-6. Atlanta over Montreal 5-1. And the Diamondbacks got Florida 8-7. Yesterday, after waiting over a week, Sammy hit number 60. Today, he hit 61. Last year, you know, that was a huge number when Mark McGuire reached it. Roger Maris had hit 61 in 1961. That had stood for 37 years. Now 61 is just another number on the road to 70, where McGuire finished last year. Of course, there's only 2 guys who are keeping up that pace. New York 11-7 over Cleveland in the American League. Boston defeated Detroit 7-3. A's over Kansas City 12-3, and Tampa Bay 15, Texas 2. Week number 2 in the NFL. Already we are learning that while John Elway did need Terrell Davis to get his Super Bowl rings, Terrell and the Broncos needed Elway a heck of a lot more. They're finding out with rookie quarterback Bryan Greasy, 11 of 16, 107 yards, an interception, and a fumble today. Kansas City's Kimball Anders, kid from University of Houston, rushed for 142 yards. Pete Stoyanovich, 4 field goals. The result of all that, Denver is 0-2. Kansas City beat them 26-10. Miami is 2-0. They squeaked out a 19-16 win over Arizona. Indianapolis went to New England today, grabbed a 28-0 lead at halftime with Peyton Manning finding Marvin Harrison 3 times for touchdowns. But the second half, all New England. Drew Bledsoe, 299 yards. This TD toss to Ben Coates tied it at 28. Then Edrin James coughed up the football. The Pats took over. Then a Thierry kicked.